Molweni zithandwa. Hello beautiful people, hello darlings, welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year guys. This is like my first official video, so Happy New Year on a February and happy month of love, happy everything. Today we are doing a review and before I can start a review guys, I just want to say today's review is Xhosa themed, as you can see by my look, because the guys whose books I am reviewing today are both Xhosa. They come from very strong Xhosa women, so to celebrate them and to represent them, I thought, let me just dress like this and do as izinto. Remember Zoleka from Generations. If you don't, sorry, but I know these guys will remember Zoleka and Archie's wedding, because this is what she did on her face and we all loved it. And without wasting any time, let me introduce you to these guys that I am going to talk about now. Okay, so I'm just going to say, ndithanda isiXhosa. Ndithanda ukuthetha isiXhosa kodwa andikwazi ukusithetha kakuhle. I have a few Xhosa friends who I always talk with in my broken Xhosa because I love it. I love the cliques, I love the culture, I love the pride in these people, and so it gives me joy to do this video today because of this language I love so much, even though I can't, speak properly like them, but I really love you guys. I love the Xhosa culture. Aba bantu endizothetha ngabo Khaya Dlanga ethi these things really do happen to me, and Trevor Noah and uthi Born a Crime and other stories. So if you know these two guys, they are friends. They're both funny. The other one laughs really loudly like me sometimes, and the other one is a well-known comedian and he's like well known now, Trevor Noah, and he's doing the things, he's making us proud, and I won't even talk about his house. I thought it very fitting to do a review on these two books because of the relationship they both have, and mainly because there's a common thing about these books. One of them is how proud these guys are of their mothers, and they always talk about their mothers like my mom this, my mom that, they love their mother so much, and which is why they wrote so much about them, because these women played such huge roles in their lives. And another thing is that the stories these guys tell, they are so funny and they will break your heart at some point. And another thing is that they sound like they sound like lies, if you know what I mean. If you have a friend, right, and this friend just tells you, yo bruh, you won't believe what happened to me, look, I got bitten by a snake and I went to the hospital, blah blah blah, and you're thinking, is this person really telling the truth? So the types of stories in these two books sound like they are not true, and they are true, which is why I really like them, and I thought I'm going to do a review on both of them. I was supposed to do a review on Khaya Dlanga's book a long time ago. I read this book last year and I didn't get to do a review. For some reason I couldn't do a review, and maybe because God knew that I was going to read Trevor Noah's book, and thought, let me just do both of them at the same time. So thank you to Find Your Click, who sponsored this book. I really love this book. Thank you so much for giving me this book. That's my Xhosa friend who I always speak broken Xhosa with, by the way. Without wasting any more of your time, let me review these books for you. I will start with Khaya Dlanga's these things really do happen to me. These things really do happen to me. Khaya Dlanga. This cover is like an Instagram post, if you can see. And on the comment section, guess who is commenting? Trevor Noah, guys. Trevor Noah is commenting and he says, imagine the most fascinating stories your best friend ever told you. This is a book full of them. And if you read this book, you know that this book is full of a lot of stories. Like, it's like, let me see. Oh, it's a list of stories. A list. I don't know how many there are. And I can tell you all of these stories are like, they are jaw-dropping because you think, Khaya, seriously, did this thing really happen to you? Like, Khaya shares his life and how it all started when he was young, and as a child, you know, his father left his mom at an early age, and his dad died. He died in Soweto. He left them, and he went to Soweto, and he had another family there, and they killed him. So he died before he was 30, and he left Kaya's mom with two children. That was him and his sister. And so he basically tells you about his life from early childhood to his adulthood and how he became the Khaya Dlanga we know today. If you know Khaya Dlanga, you know he's very big on social media, he's big on marketing. He is the go-to guy when it comes to marketing, if I may say so. And so he wrote this book because his captions are very storytelling like, and so he saw it fitting to write a book about his life and add pictures relevant to the stories he shares on this book. So I have a few of my favorite stories he shared on this book, and one of them was, okay, I won't say them in chronological order. I will just say them as I remember them. The one I really, really loved was when Khaya Dlanga found out that he had a sister in Soweto from his father and his other wife. And so his girlfriend at the time said, you know, you need to connect with your sister and see what's happening. And so hesitantly, Khaya did so, and they went to look for the sister. They found the sister, and in his mind, he thought the sister was well off, but she wasn't. And so she had a child. When they met, you know, she just she was those people who were like, oh, okay, count imali, you know, that type of sister who thinks, okay, now I got a jackpot from this from this brother of mine. And it got to a point where they lost contact because now the sister was abusing Khaya so much, demanding stuff from Khaya, and you know, it was a toxic relationship. It was a short-lived relationship. And so Khaya was like, I can't. I'm done with the sister. I saw her, I know her, but I won't be abused by another person. So I'm done. That's one of the stories I liked. Oh, and then there's this other story of a girl that Khaya was working with, and this girl wrote poetry, and she wrote a poem to Khaya. Khaya wrote a poem to her, and there was this other time, I think they were in, was it an event or something like that, and this lady was like, Khaya, can we go out, you know, and please hold my hand. And they held hands and they walked. Khaya was thinking, wow, okay, this lady's going to tell me that she finally likes me and the way I like her and stuff like that. And so they walked in silence, Khaya anticipating when this lady was going to tell him how much she felt about him. And eventually they stopped at a bus stop and Khaya was like, okay, we are in silence, I can do that. And then all of a sudden this lady told him that her mom died. And wow, the way he told that story, I was like, wow. I also thought, the lady wanted to tell Khaya how she felt. Meanwhile, she was hurting and all she wanted to do was to have someone next to her, supporting her without them knowing what she was going through. And I love that story. It was such a beautiful story. Another story I loved was Khaya Dlanga sleeping next to Thabo Mbeki. Who does that? Khaya Dlanga. Because these things really do happen to him. So yeah, this is such a good book. It's well written, it's fast paced, the chapters are small, straight to the point, and very understandable, very relatable at some point. And what I like about Khaya is that he's always been a hard worker, and he's always had a very good support system from his mother, who is an imbogodo. Like she is queen, and she was a feminist back when the word feminism wasn't as famous as it is now. She knew what she wanted and she stood her ground, and she raised her kids in a manner that they would be inspired to do more in life. And such women I really admire, women who take their time to nurture their children and to open them to doors of opportunities, because that's what she did. She took Khaya to Model C schools when she didn't have money, and because she knew that those schools would open doors for Khaya. And she worked really hard, man, and I really do admire that. And I admire that Khaya didn't shy away from telling stories about his mother. I know a lot of guys don't like to be called mother's boys, but in this case I really like such a mother's boy, because you know why they are like this. That's where I end my review of this book. I gave it a 4.5 stars. I think I gave it 4.5 stars last year on Goodreads, but I can't remember why the other star is missing. But anyways, 4.5. I love this book. I recommend this book. If you like Khaya Dlanga and if you like his character, or if you don't understand his character, this book will clarify everything you've been thinking about him. I wasn't a fan of Khaya Dlanga until I read the book and I realized, oh, this guy is actually quite like me, because I like to laugh. People think I'm funny at times, and I'm a hard worker and I like to see other people succeed. I just don't have famous friends like him, but yeah, I have very good friends like him. So yeah, good book. I recommend you get this. It's very funny and very inspirational, and he's one of the people who actually started the movement of YouTube in South Africa when it wasn't fashionable. So he's your go-to guy with a lot of things. Check him out on Instagram and get his book. So guys, Bonnet Crime, when I posted that I'm reading this book on Bookstagram, a lot of people said, oh my goodness, I love this book, you're going to love this book, you're going to enjoy this book is funny, this book is this and that. there was only one person who had a bit of, not didn't like, who thought it was fast paced for her, but she didn't say she didn't like the book. It was just a bit fast paced for her, that's all. But a majority of people said, I love this book. And I can safely say that I also love this book. A lot of people, when they talk about Trevor Noah, they admire him for different reasons, for a lot of things, and when you read this book, you kind of understand Trevor Noah on another level. He's hardworking, he's making us proud, and he is funny, you know. And Born a Crime is a book about Trevor and why he regards himself as a crime, or as someone who was born a crime. So Trevor is a child of a Xhosa woman and a Swiss man. So they created a colored baby, and so Trevor was a crime because he was born at a time when a white person and a black person were not allowed to have a relationship or sexual relations, whatever. An interracial relationship was a crime, and so Trevor was basically a crime, which is why the title says Born a Crime. He was a crime because he was conceived at a time when it was illegal for interracial relationships. And so this book is mainly themed around Trevor and his mother. I love Trevor Noah's mother. There's so many things that she said in this book, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's my girl. And the things that she does sometimes just remind me of me, you know, and with the relationship I have with my son. I don't beat my son or anything, but we have a special kind of relationship. Anyways, it's not about me and my son, it's about Trevor Noah and his mother. Anyways, Trevor Noah's mom, guys, she loved Jesus so much. I have never seen such a Jesus thumper so much in my life. Like, Trevor Noah even says, if there are top 100 fans of Jesus, my mom would be on that top 100 because she was such a fan. Anything would go wrong, and Trevor Noah's mom would be like, that's Jesus doing his thing, you know, Jesus is talking to us. That's Jesus who was doing that because he wanted to show us something, you know. And because I believe so much that because of what she believed and how she always prayed to Jesus, manifested in so many ways in Trevor's lives or her children. I don't know about her other children, but what we see in Trevor's life is such a blessing. And those prayers, you know, were such that she believed that Jesus was her everything. Jesus was her medical aid. Jesus was her transport. Jesus was her boyfriend. Jesus was her everything. And so because of that belief, so many things, miraculous things happened. And when he tells his story, you can tell that, you know, he had a really powerful praying mom. And that's what I admire about her. She was a very important key in Trevor Noah's life. And so Trevor Noah just takes us through her life as a colored person in South Africa during his time, or during the apartheid era, and just after South Africa had gained freedom. And what had happened was he was conceived as a crime, and so every time Trevor Noah went to visit his father or they went to the park, his mother always took her colored friend to accompany them so that, they wouldn't say the baby was stolen or something like that, because he looked like that woman acted as his mother for the longest time. And so after independence, Trevor Noah went to private school, and then he went to Model C schools, and he just basically tells us about his life with his mom, um, him and his mom against the world. She was a rebellious person. She was also a feminist. She was feisty. She was stubborn. She always told Trevor, you need to dream big, you need to aspire for more, you need to broaden your mindset because the world is big and you can do anything. That's what she did. And so I believe, which is why we see Trevor Noah as this big person in the world, because of her prayers, because of her push, because of her reminding Trevor that, there's bigger things out there. The stories that Trevor told in this book actually sound like Khaya Dlanga's stories. These things really happened to me. Like, for instance, the one story that he one of my favorite stories, let me check here for you, is, oh my goodness, Trevor Noah. I'll just shorten the story. He was attending a matric dance, right, with this girl that he was meeting, a very beautiful girl by the name of Babiki. And they met a couple of times, and they went to matric dance, and when they got there, Babiki refused to get out of the car. And Trevor was frustrated about the situation, like, what's happening with this girl? I know I fetched her late, but why is she acting up? And so these guys came to check her out. She was the most beautiful girl, and they were like, yo, Trevor, where did you get this girl, blah blah blah. And after a long time, his friend Bongani went to Trevor and he said, Trevor, that girl can't speak English. And that's the reason why she couldn't get out of the car, because she couldn't speak English, and she went to this school where those kids spoke English. And it dawned on Trevor that he actually didn't have a conversation with her. He had a conversation with her through his friend Tom. Tom spoke Sepedi with Babiki. Babiki also spoke Sepedi with Tom. Tom, who spoke English to Trevor, Trevor, and the same. So they never both had like a conversation together. And so he realized, oh, okay, so this is why she couldn't get out of the car, because how was she going to converse with the other people? But when he dropped her off, he got a kiss from Babiki. I love that story. It was so cute. Another story is my favorite, but I won't tell you about it because that's a spoiler, and that's a story that broke my heart so much. But I will just give you a summary. So Trevor Noah's mom met this guy by the name of Abel. Abel had another name by Gisaveni. That's what Trevor says, Gisaveni, which means fear me, right? And this guy, he had a very, very good side. And then he had a very, very bad side. And at some point, this guy became very abusive, okay? And Trevor Noah's mom lost so many things because of her relationship with Abel. And she gained 2 beautiful children in that relationship, though. And this thing happened to Trevor Noah's mom. And I was like, of all the prayers that this woman has prayed, this one was one of the best. Because when this particular thing happened to her, all hope was lost. And then all of a sudden, a miracle happens. You know, I can't tell you this thing. I'm so sorry. You need to get this book to know what happened. And I know I'm big on spoilers, but not this time. I am so sorry. But a miracle happened, and so I'll just read you. I don't know if okay. I'll just read you this part where Trevor Noah now comes out of the hospital with his mom, and you know he says, Trevor Noah says to his mom, "You don't have medical aid," and his mom says, "Oh, but I do have medical aid." And so Trevor says, "You do?" She says, "Yes, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Jesus is your medical aid. If God is with me, who can be against me?" That's what she always said, by the way. "Okay, Mom. Trevor, I prayed. I told you I prayed. I don't pray for nothing. You know," I said, that's Trevor. "For once I cannot argue with you." And then da 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 da. I can't read that part. And so Trevor says, "Where was it, Jesus, to pay your hospital bill? I know for a fact that he didn't pay that." And Trevor Noah's mom smiled and said, "You're right, he didn't. But he blessed me with the son who did." And I was like, oh my goodness, what a beautiful ending. That's the ending, by the way. It was such a beautiful ending. I loved it so much. And I was like, this is the cherry on top. And Trevor Noah will take you to these stories that happened in his life. I promise you, he's not telling you about his life as the Trevor Noah you know. He's telling you about his life as the Trevor Noah you don't know. But towards the end, he'll say, "Okay, when I started doing gigs, comedy gigs, going here and there," that's all he says about his career, by the way. And this thing happened. Now he could afford to pay for this and that, and so that's why his mom said, "God blessed me with a son who could pay those bills." And I was like, yeah, no, this book is good, you know. It will tell you all these things that Trevor Noah did, and they will piss you off at some point. You will get really angry, you will get really sad, but at the end, I don't even know how to describe this feeling. And so I loved this book so much, and I gave it a 4.5 stars too. Why I gave it a 4.5? Because this book is missing pictures. I want to see Trevor Noah's mom, and I want to see his brothers, and I want to see Temperament, his grandfather, Temperament, and his grandma, and how he looked at his matric dance, you know. So I feel so robbed that he didn't give us pictures. I'm so angry about that, but I love this book so much. I really love it, and I appreciate Trevor Noah so much and what he has done for us as South Africans, what he has done for us as the world, because we suffer a lot from racism, and so he's managed to blend in. He calls himself a cultural chameleon because he manages to blend in here and there. He masters a lot of languages, which is why he survived a lot in this book, in the incidents that happened in his life. And so yeah, I will end my review here. I didn't want to say much about the stories in this book because I didn't want to give you a spoiler. I want you to get this book because it's such a phenomenal book. In conclusion, I just want to say thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. thank you for liking and commenting on my videos. I really and truly appreciate it. I will give you a lot of reviews. I read a lot of books last year and I didn't get a chance to review them for you because I was just pushing this target of mine. Yeah, 40 books per year. I didn't even get to 40 because of whatever, but I just want to end my video here. I read Trevor Noah and Khaya Dlanga, both good friends by the way, and I enjoyed both these books so much, and I really appreciate their contribution in the literary space. And this is where I am ending my video. Thank you again. See you on my next video. Ndizonibona guys, ndiyanithanda nonke. This is how, by the way, I posture myself when I speak isiXhosa. So ndizophelela apha, andifuni ukuthetha kakhulu. Ndizonibona emva kwesikhashana. I don't think that's Xhosa by the way, but yeah. Bye bye.